The second thing that makes many people unhappy are comparisons in social media. Saying someone is ugly doesn't make you any prettier. Passively browsing social media leads to overall dissatisfaction. So I found this really interesting, that there are two types of connections that you can make with social media. The first being active, and that is the liking of people's photos, commenting on them, starting a message chain where you're actively involved with someone else. And the second is passive, and passive is just like scrolling through, not really doing much more than the surface and just reading over what they have, but not making any interaction with it. And interestingly enough, when you actively browse social media, your happiness actually increases, but when you passively browse it, it decreases. And because most people use social media when they're bored, just to mess around or whatnot, or when they're waiting for something, they spend a lot more time passively browsing than they do actively browsing, which gives it a net of unhappiness and negativity, which many people have heard that social media makes you unhappy. Social media makes us feel inferior. We envy those in higher positions than us. And as humans, we have a sort of knack of ranking ourselves. We look at a group of people, typically in our peers, such as if I'm a high school student, other high school students, more specifically those in our classes and stuff, and see how we size up against the competition. And because of this human nature, it causes a lot of people to be unhappy when they use social media, as they see actresses, actors, musicians, all living glamorous and amazing lives on social media, and thinking, wow, I wish I was them. And that leads to a lot of overall discontent and envy. As the third point says, we are now able to compare ourselves to anyone in the world at any time. So previously, before social media, you could only really compare yourself to those who you were in contact with, such as people who lived in a similar vicinity as yourself. But now with social media, this process of ranking ourselves has been extremely exaggerated. Now we can, any time of day on our smartphones, we can go on Facebook or whatnot and look up Angelina Jolie and all the amazing things that she's doing and think, wow, I wish I had her life. And that, again, like I said before, makes us discontented. Lastly, your satisfaction is not so much based on your income, but how wealthy you are compared to those around you. So this is really interesting. Researchers did a study on people from low income, middle class, and upper class neighborhoods and ranked their happiness, and they found that the people in the upper of the lower class neighborhoods were happier than both the people in the lower part of the middle class and upper class neighborhoods. And this is, again, going back to the ranking, and even though the people in the lower income neighborhoods made less than those in the middle class and wealthy class neighborhoods, they were still happier because based about the people that they ranked themselves directly with around them were not as well off as they were.